Hey YouTube, how you all doing today? John here, back at you with another video, JJEDC, and we're here with a little bit of a controversial topic, which I kind of want to dabble and battle in. So the controversial topic is the Sebenza, Chris Reeves Sebenza. Is it still worth it in 2022? Is it still something that is relevant? Is it still something that we should have? Why are they still making knives that are for that price with these materials? Well, we're going to get into all that. And one of the biggest things that I'm going to talk about is cost of diminishing returns. And if you ask me what that is, I will get into that in the video. In short, do I think the Chris Reeves Sebenza is worth it? My answer is yes. It's not yes because I'm being paid by Chris Reeves. It's not yes because I think I want to fit in with every other YouTuber out there. You literally see on YouTube the everybody is split. Like you have people that love the Sebenza and you have people that hate the Sebenza. You have people that love Chris Reeves, people that hate Chris Reeves. I don't think anybody really hates Chris Reeves, but I've seen some people that think that it's really not worth it. Now, do I want to get into this whole debate of what's good, what's bad? Because there's tons of reviews on the knife. There's tons of reviews. I will give my take if you would, I'm actually going to give my take. So I'm not going to lie, there's not much I don't like besides the price and the thumb studs. And the thumb studs, to me, aren't the worst thing. They're not the worst thumb studs out there. Everyone's like, oh, the thumb studs are terrible. Well, you got to just do it right. And once you get it, the hang of it, they're really not that bad. I mean, I'm underneath the camera, but I can actually get this to flick out. There we go. I did get this second hand. I'm not going to lie because I mentioned the price. So I did have to resharpen it, which I think I actually have to touch up that just a little bit, but I'm not going to get into that right now. This is the natural micarta with the titanium S45VN, nice hollow grind. Okay, so S45VN, I think it's a great steel. What's the difference between this and S30? Well, S45VN maybe not quite as tough as the S35VN, but you're talking minuscule difference of toughness. And this will probably be slicier than the S35VN. Probably also talking a little bit closer to minuscule differences as far as sliciness as well. Corrosion resistance is definitely more corrosive resistant, not by too much, but definitely is a good upgrade on this knife. Full titanium handles, the natural micarta inlays. I like titanium. I think it's a great combination. Now, one of the biggest things I love about this knife, and this is the large, is how it fits in my hand. It just fits like a glove. And honestly, it's very neutral in its handle. Very neutral. The lock, very, very good, you know? I mean, they're really hard to beat a frame lock from Chris Reeves because he's the one who invented it. Other knives that I feel like are kind of almost a copycat in some ways. You got a Tor, and you could see the Tor maybe in the back end is kind of similar in width, but it's a lot skinnier here and a lot skinnier in the blade. This is also S35VN. Um, Here, we'll do this. If you're kind of interested the differences between the two, is this a poor man's Sebenza? That's up to debate of you. If you don't understand why the Sebenza is so loved and so sought after by so many people, then yeah, you may look at this and this Tor knife and be like, yeah, this is just as good. It's got a lot of the same features, titanium, all this stuff. S35VN, thumb studs are better, blah blah blah, kind of thing. You'll look at it like that. But if you actually hold this in your hand and you actually use this for work, I'm not just talking about your fidget toy. I'm talking about for work. And that is a big debate. There is one guy, and I'm not going to call him out by name because he's a good YouTuber, and I have no problem with him, and I have no quarrel with him. But one of his biggest complaints about this knife was that it wasn't a fidget toy, or it wasn't fidgety enough for him. And once again, it's not a fidget toy, it's a knife. You work with your knife. And I know it's controversial, and it's like, but you work with your knife. You work with them. That's what you do. Now, yes, I mentioned the price. Now, what the cost of diminished returns is, and I'm going to grab my handy dandy notebook here, and we're going to do a little bit of drawing on, okay? And the knife is going to go out of the picture for a second, okay? And I should have been more prepared for this because there's my pen, and I got my pen. Okay, make sure my pen writes. It does. Okay, so what is it? So this is your typical XY graph, okay? You have quality, which is Q, and you have price, okay? Now, as your price increases, okay, in theory, your quality also increases, okay? But what really happens a lot of times is that we're going to have to do another little graph. As the price increases, so this is your P, this is your Q, okay? As your price increases, the quality increases, but then what it does is it actually does this. I'm not saying it goes back down, but it goes straight. It kind of just goes like this. So at a certain price point, say right here, you're really getting the maximum amount of quality, and that is a terrible graph. At a certain price point, you're getting a maximum amount of quality right there. That is ideally where everybody wants to be. Okay? They want the best quality for the best price. That's cost of diminishing returns. Okay? So, you get into a knife like, for example, there's the SOG, right? Does it have S35VN? Yes. Is it a hollow grind? I don't believe so. It almost feels like a hollow grind, but it's not. But the thing is, though, is that this SOG was made in China. This steel, which this guy here invented that steel that's on there, because Chris Reeves worked with Crucible Industry to create S35VN. So Crucible, what it happens is that Crucible Industries creates sheets and sheets of metal. Okay? And those sheets of metal then get shipped to whatever knife company it is. Doesn't matter if it's Spyderco, doesn't matter if it's Chris Reeves, doesn't matter if it's Benchmade, doesn't matter who it is. That sheet of metal gets shipped to them. That company, whatever company it is, so in this it's SOG or SOG, whatever you want to call it, SOG then cuts out a blank of this knife or this blade, and then they grind it down from there. And as you can tell, I put my own edge on that one as well. And then they put it on their knife, and then they sell to you. So this one's made in China, okay? You could look up the price on these ones. The prices obviously on these knives vary, over time. This is a G10 carbon fiber. It's a G10 scale with like a carbon fiber inlay to kind of give that carbon fiber look, but it's really a G10 scale. It's got basic steel liners. It's got thumb studs, which are okay. I mean, even though these thumb studs look a little better than this one, they're sharp. They're actually really sharp. It's got they call an XR lock. It's their version of an axis lock, right? So you think to yourself, why do I need something better than this? Well, I guarantee you, this clip, I could just do this, and you could see how it's bending. I can guarantee you, you can go online and read how many reviews of this bar lock has broken. How many people have chipped the tip on these knives? You know, this knife is really not meant to last. Okay. So, but you're spending a certain price point. You're getting pretty good quality, when you get this knife. So let's move up a little bit more in a different price point. So now, here we go. So this has CPMS 45VN, right? This is Spyderco. This is made in USA. Well, it's basically got a compression lock, which is a reverse liner lock, which, you know, could be argued isn't as sturdy as some others. It's got G10 handles, which are just basically a glorified plastic, you know, and eventually you're going to probably want to upgrade maybe the scales on it, you know. It does have some metal steel liners, but they're probably just like a stainless steel liner, okay? So this is like another price bracket. Now let's trickle up a little bit. Let's go up to another price bracket, okay? So let's see what we got here. Something in between. Okay, so we could bring in the Tor knives again. Okay. This is kind of like the next price bracket. So this is a pretty good example of a good price for a good product, The full titanium, which isn't bad. The clip is a little bit more or less to be desired. You got S35 VN blade, which also isn't bad. But I had to resharpen this knife. Why? Because I couldn't even cut through anything. And the blade is not a hollow grind. It's just pretty much almost it's kind of like a saber, almost flat grind. It's really kind of doesn't feel amazing in the hand because it's so skinny right here. It doesn't feel amazing in the hand. Okay. But that's another price point, right? Okay, let's move on to something else that's a similar price point to that one. You have the quiet carry. This is the waypoint. This is okay. Now we're getting into a nice knife. Titanium scales, or titanium handle. LN200 liner. Okay, hollow grind with Van X steel. What's not to love about this? Deep carry pocket clip, small and compact. But I'll tell you what. When it comes to actually working with this knife, I have not seen the performance out of the Van X Super Steel that I was hoping for. I started cutting through cardboard and just basic things at work, and I already had to sharpen this knife not once, twice. I've had to sharpen this knife because it's just not holding up. It's not holding up like I thought it was going to, and it's very small in the hand, and it just doesn't have the same, quality basically to it. It doesn't have the same robustness. That's what I'm looking for, robustness. So what I'm trying to say is that is this knife a little more on the pricier side versus other ones? Yes. Okay. Or if you're somebody that wants to get a Chris Reeves knife, I would suggest, if you can, and this is if you can, see if you can go to a local shop and hold one in your hand. It is not, you're not going to 100% know if you're going to like it or not, but I'll tell you, the first time I opened this thing up and I held it in my hand and I felt how sturdy and how just it's wide but not fat. It's got great blade stock and how just nice this blade in this whole entire knife actually is, and how when I was just cutting through cardboard, it was just like butter. It was just right through, no issue. You have to hold it in your hand to really understand. And am I going to sit here and tell you to get it? No. I'm not going to sit here and tell you to get it because it's not for everybody. Are there other knives out there that could do a similar thing? Yeah, I would say there's some that are similar. But is there any that really match up to what this does? No. I haven't. I personally haven't had a knife that has matched up to how solid and how great this knife feels in your hand. And when I see so many people saying, "Oh, it's not worth it, it's not worth it," they don't. They're just looking for a glorified fidget toy. They want something like the compression lock, where you could just do this all day and just do that, or here we go. You could do this, or you could do this, or you can reverse flick it. Oh look, I reverse flick. Okay, I have other knives I could do that with. Ooh, I could do this. Who cares? I want a knife that works. That's what I want. I want a knife that when I pick it up and I go to my job or I go outside in my yard and I need to do work, this knife will work for me. And this knife will outlast all these other knives tenfold. Guarantee it. I've seen people with these knives on YouTube who've had their knife for 10 years. It doesn't even look like it was even touched, and they work with it. You could tell they do work with it. Looks like it wasn't even touched. I don't know if this video has helped anybody. I probably sounded more angry than I am because at the end of the day, these are knives. These aren't debating of which children is my favorite child, which you shouldn't do. Trust me, I got 4 of them. You don't want to go down that rabbit hole. Yeah, guys, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about the Chris Reeves knives, because you know what? I know there's people that are going to watch this video and they're going to say, I hate the Chris Reeves knife. You know what? You're entitled to your own opinion. If you don't like the knife, I'm sorry. It's not for you. I get it. I didn't think it was really worth it at first either. I held it in my hand. I tried it. I used it. And now I completely changed my mind on it. Take care, guys. Be safe. Be healthy. Like, comment, subscribe. Ask me any questions you want to ask me down below. Like I said, this really wasn't a review so much as a, little lesson in cost of diminishing returns, why I think this knife is still worth it. So, take care, guys.